welcome to the sci-fi and fantasy edition of the incoming video podcast. This is the show that looks back at the previous week's miniature releases, and this is episode 19, which looks back at the releases for week ending the 12th of February 2010. As always, I'm your host, Neil Shuck. Quite an interesting set of releases this week. At number 10, we have the first of a few alternative World War II releases this week, but from different manufacturers. First off, this is Rebel Minis, and they have a set of 15mm Nazi zombies. Here you see we have a complete pack. These look actually to be based up for Flames of War, or something akin to that. Interesting figures. Not a lot more to be said really, except for the fact that Nazi zombies seem to be flavour of the month at the moment. Yeah, nice release from Rebel, these. Like these. Staying with 15mm, but switching manufacturers to Curison, and also switching to sci-fi. This is Curison's new range of, I believe they're either green slime or green goo, but I think you'll agree. An excellent set of aliens, these. Rather unusual, very kind of pulpy, 50s. Great stuff from Curison. I really like these. Very much appealed. Number 8, and back to alternative World War II. This time Secrets of the Third Reich from Westwind. Here we see some of their new releases for this year. These are the US Jet Rangers from their new Doomsday expansion. Several different figures as you see. 3 flying, 1 guy on the ground. Some very nice looking figures here. Possibly not quite as good as some of the port ones. I think some of the port ones look a little bit more like the Rocketeer, which I think is possibly a slightly better look. But nice enough figures all the same. And as an added extra, we also have a preview photo of the new Wolverine figure from Secrets of the Third Reich. One of the new interesting US walkers. No, it's not quite X-Men, is it? But quite a nice looking figure, this. So lots of secret stuff available. Number 7, the first of a couple of releases from Micro Art Studios. This is Lord James Fowley. Unusual looking figure, this. You see, it's a guy that appears to have, well, I didn't know better, it's maybe some sort of phoenix actually on his arm. An unusual sort of figure. Why this appealed? It has a very Miyazaki look to it. I don't know if you've seen something like, for example, Howl's Moving Castle, but this particular figure actually looks very similar to several of the actual figures portrayed in that sort of style of anime. It's very stylised, but at the same time, a really nice look. So, something maybe a little bit out of the ordinary. But as I say, it just reminded me very much of that Miyazaki feel, which I quite like. At number 6, we have a green of one of the new Discworld models, again from Micro Art Studios. This is Constable Detritus, a very well-known troll, complete with his faithful siege crossbow, known as the Peacemaker. Sergeant Detritus is a fantastic character from the Discworld City Watch series, and I think this is a really good sculpt of him. Yet again, this is weakening my resolve not to buy these Discworld characters. Number 5, we see an upcoming release from Gaspez Arts for their fantasy football range. This, I believe, is a new troll. Isn't this gorgeous? Fantastic looking sculpt from Gaspez Arts. Fantastic mini sculpt from Gaspez. For you fantasy football players out there, excellent figures to look forward to. Number 4, and it's alternative World War II yet again. And it's another release from Darks and Designs for their AWW2 range. These are Soviet Psy-Cannons. I just really like these figures. I think they're really nice. I especially like the second figure, the one that's kneeling. Nice sculpt, nice pose, big evil looking gun. Great stuff. Number 3, and a new release from Studio Miniatures. These are a bunch of their apocalyptic survivors. And, well, I couldn't resist it. I really couldn't. These are obviously a slightly alternative take on Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Lion and the Tin Man, and Toto as a Rottweiler. Great looking sets of figures here from Studio Miniatures. Very alternative, and as a fun set of post-apocalyptic figures for your zombie game or what have you, I don't think you can go far wrong with these, can you? I particularly like the lion with the huge head and the Spartan style Mohican. Great stuff. Number 2, and a new release from Merck's Miniatures. These are their Chemvar range, and this is a Chemvar squad. Here we include officer, heavy weapon, sniper, couple of troopers. Not a company I'm particularly aware of, I must admit, but you've got some excellent sculpts here, really nice and dynamic. I particularly like the sniper and also the officer, the guy with the sword. Very kind of anime style armour again. Seems to be very popular at the moment. Really nice set of figures, these. Really impressed. Puts me on to number 1. And yes, finally we have a dwarf from the fantastic Kev White. This is one of his new Grims. Now, we've seen a green for this a while ago, but I haven't featured it on the show, and it's finally come out. This is a female Grim communications officer. Only one word for this, you know what I'm going to say. Superb. What a figure. Wonderful detail. Right down to most of the buttons available on the laptop. A fantastic pose. I mean, it's a really unusual figure. You don't tend to get a lot of these. Okay, maybe not the most useful, but such a brilliant character study, brilliant character figure. Okay, in this particular instance it says it's supposed to be female. I don't know, I'm not particularly sure whether you can actually tell the difference. It's a Grim Light Trooper. Fantastic stuff, it really is good. From the communications backpack even down to the sole of the boot. Fantastic sculpt from Kev White. He really is one of the best sculptors around, especially when it comes to things like dwarves. I'm a huge fan of his Grim. They really are excellent figures. And a very worthy number 1 for this week. Well, that's all we've got time for. I hope you've seen something you like. We've had a big selection of stuff this week from various different areas. Not much fantasy, much more sci-fi this particular week. But it's swings and roundabouts, isn't it? I'm sure we'll go the other way in future. Before I go, just say a huge thank you to Bill at the Miniatures page and Zach at Tabletop Gaming News. Without these guys' efforts, this podcast simply wouldn't be possible. So until next week, take care, happy gaming, I'll chat to you soon. Bye.